there for the taking. Sixers drop game two to the New York Knicks 108 to 102. A game that the Sixers, on multiple occasions, I think, had the opportunity to go up by a little more than that 5 to 6 point threshold they held at different points in the game, but just couldn't do it and let the Knicks hang around. And Jalen Brunson was able to finish in the fourth quarter. My name's Colby Marshall. I'm here with my uncle Chuck Butler, dad, Troy Marshall, who
What's
I
up?
watched the game with. Better performance than game one, definitely an improvement, but you don't have a whole lot of time in the playoffs to just focus on getting better. You got to win games. The Sixers now are in a 2-hole against the Knicks with the series going back to Philly. No Joel Embiid tonight. What did you see from the Sixers? I'll start with you first, Chuck. What did you see from them tonight? What do you think about this game?
Well, believe it or not, I mean, I've had a couple minutes to kind of reflect. I'm proud of the team. I thought they fought, they played hard. Troy, you mentioned a million times in the chat. They were tired, especially the starting five other than Drummond. But if Nick Nurse again decides not to use his bench, this is what we're going to get, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll have a fresh Embiid going into game three, which I'm sure we'll talk about either tonight or at some point. But they just felt like they ran out of gas. Couldn't close the game. He's our closer. But unfortunately, he also had to play Embiid to some extent. And, in an ideal world, Embiid would get us through the tough moments through the game, either making tough baskets, getting someone in foul trouble, getting to the foul line. Maxey and PG to a little bit had to play that role tonight. And then Maxey was asked to close. In a perfect world, he would just really be playing off of Embiid most of the game and then closing the game. He ran out of gas. He was coming off short on jump shots and he seemed not as fast as he usually is. Um, but at the end of the day, I'm proud of the team. They played hard. And I mentioned in our chat, I think they can. This team's beatable. Can the Sixers beat them? I think they can. Will they? I don't know. But Knicks are beatable. I loved, I don't want to ramble on, but this is the last thing I'll say. I loved VJ's defense on Brunson. He got like 25 points, but it took like 22 shots to get there. I think they found something with that. Like Troy had mentioned, I wish they would have hunted Brunson a little bit more, make him even work even more on defense. But I think they found something in slowing Brunson down a little bit. He's a great player, but I think VJ did a wonderful job just kind of like getting in his way. So those are my takes. I'm proud of the team. They need to find a way to get Maxey, VJ, PG some blow, just some rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my take.
Yeah, even staggering those minutes, like having VJ run point and give Maxey a blow. He played 47 minutes tonight, and all the minutes in the second half, he didn't come out one single time. And you
I
could just
didn't.
tell in that fourth quarter, he didn't, he had that open three after a missed layup that he had. They got the offensive rebound with Paul George, and they kicked it back out, and open three fell short. Shot he usually makes. I think he had 2 open threes in that fourth quarter that he missed. And the entire game, my dad, you said it. He had his hands on his knees like the entire second, starting with the second quarter on, really. He had his hands on his knees. And it's just a indictment, like I've said before, on the lack of depth on this team and Nick Nurse. I mean, it's hard to justify him not playing the bench with the way Dominic Barlow looked when he got into the game and the impact that he had. It's like, well, how many more guys can you get good minutes out of like that? When you think about it, Trendon Watford, Jabari Walker, Justin Edwards, that can all help take this load off of Tyrese Maxey.
You think,
So
hold
it
up,
is
those three you named, and I know Troy, I know you got a lot to say, and Kobe, I don't mean to interrupt. Those three players you named, you think they could have given Maxi a blow? I just don't think they have the players. I guess maybe you're right. Maybe they could put VJ at point and then play
right,
Justin Edwards at
We
the
don't
wing.
have another point guard. Like VJ has to play point guard,
right.
right? He's played point guard throughout the year to some extent. So I think that's your only option is to have him play point. I just wish that we had another guard coming off the bench that we can really rely on.
Yeah,
I always think about when I think about three guard rotations, I always go back to Isaiah Thomas, Dumars, and Benny Johnson, and all three guys were interchangeable in that backcourt.
yeah.
And that's not what we really have right now. Listen, I think overall the Sixers played better on both sides of the ball, which really wasn't hard to do, relatively speaking to the last game, but they played a lot better. I thought Maxi did a better job of passing out of the traps and the Sixers actually had a plan on what to do after the traps. They got a few open threes off from the Knicks traps. I thought Barlow's minutes were huge, and
Mhm.
even though it took foul trouble for Nurse to give him some time, I'm hoping that he realizes that that's another body that he can really trust. Which I don't understand why he didn't trust him in the playoffs anyway. Like the man started pretty much all year long. Like I don't understand why you would bench him for the playoffs. And I understand you want to get your best players out there, but again, I'm a person who thinks Kelly Oubre, who played a very good game tonight. He played a very good game. He has his moments where it looks like he's chasing butterflies on the soccer field. I think overall he played a very good game. But I would love to see him come off the bench in a Vinnie Johnson type role, like just go in and get it. That's what you like to do. Just go downhill. The ball's in your hands. Go try to score on the second unit. So like those are some good things. Bad things were. Listen, I hate to climb all over Nurse's back, but he has to find a way to your guy's point. He has to find a way to get Maxey some minutes. If you're going to rely on Maxey the way you do, you can't sit him down for a minute. I watched the Knicks. There was a stretch in the second quarter where Brunson was not on a court for like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. He's their best player. But Brown, he had the wherewithal to say, you know what, I can't play these guys 40 minutes, 45 minutes a game the way Thibodeau did. And Nick Nurse is similar to Thibodeau, where he just relies on his best players and big games and for the most part all year long. And it's coming back to bite him, I think. And the ugly, like I went to the good, the bad, and the ugly. The ugly was to me was Grimes. Grimes did not play well at all. He had a wide open layup. He bobbled the ball, but he still could have got the ball up. No one, Cat wasn't going to block it. Like if he just go up strong, Cat would have fouled you. He's not the smartest defender in the world. He would have fouled you. Just go up strong, and he passed it right back out for an open three that I think we missed. Paul George missed, or Kelly Oubre missed. I don't know. Yeah, it's unfortunate. They had the game. They could have not going to say easily won the game, but it does come down to Maxey not being able to finish, and not just Maxey, because VJ had a bunch of open threes near the close of the game, and he missed them too. So it wasn't just Maxey. They all looked gassed by the end of the game. Like I don't know how many points they scored within the last 3 minutes of the game.
I think
Yeah,
they scored
just
3 in the last 7 minutes of the game in
They scored
total.
3 points in the last 7 minutes of the game. Son, are you
They
serious?
had they had 9 when Kelly hit that 3 to go up 99-96. That was with 6 minutes left, and they scored. Whether they finished with a total of 102 points, so they scored 3 points over the last 6-7 minutes.
That's fatigue. That's fatigue, man. The Knicks defense, the Knicks didn't do anything defensively because the Sixers had a bunch of wide open shots. That's just fatigue.
yeah, to get back to Grimes, you're right. He was awful. I don't know if he lost his confidence, but he was
Yeah, it looks
not
like
taking threes and like dribbling into traffic to try to get I don't know what he was doing. Wasn't a good game for him.
No, you can't. Like you can't. If that's my bench player, you can't come in and be a net negative. And too many times we've seen one or two guys come off the bench and be a net negative. And like that's not what a true championship team has on their bench. Everyone on a championship team is value added. And that's not what we have right now on the Sixers. And that's an indictment on Morey more than it is on Nurse to me. Nurse has his hand in it because he doesn't play these guys enough to me in the regular season. In key moments, like big games, key moments, he doesn't play his bench enough to gain some type of trust in them, right? But again, if he feels like, dude, I don't know what Daryl Morey has, what kind of ingredients he's given me, but I can't cook with them. If
You
he
don't hold
feels
up.
that way,
I give you
no.
I give you the backcourt, and I know I'm always coming off defending Morey. I'll give you like a capable ball handler, which is
hmm
important. I'm not saying it's not important,
hmm
but you don't think there's talent on that bench? We talked about this last podcast. I think there's people on that bench that could contribute. Nurse is not playing them.
I agree.
Yeah, because he doesn't have confidence in him, right? So
But I don't think that's Morey. I don't think that's a Morey issue. I think Morey gave him pieces. He took a piece away that we could use right now. Don't get me wrong. You can get him one about that all you want. I totally agree with that.
Here's where it becomes a more issue because we don't have enough money. We didn't have enough money to go get like mid-level exception free agents, either in the offseason or at the trade deadline.
No, no,
So
no,
we
no, no,
have
no.
to no. Listen, so we have to come with the Barlows and the Jabari Walkers and the Trenton Waffords, guys that
Who are all like
they're kind of like fringe players. They're not somebody like I don't know why I'm bringing his name up, but like Tim Hardaway Jr. Like you know what he's going to give you. I'm not saying he's the perfect role player, but he's a step above what we have on our team
Troy, those
because we have 3 max contracts. It's tougher for Morey to go get some better players, but that's
that
on
I agree
him.
with.
That's on him.
That's on
That I
him.
agree with.
He made
But
that decision.
if Tim Hardaway Jr. and I know you're just using for example,
Yeah.
but if these mid-level players that
Mhm.
are out there, if they played on the Sixers, Troy, we will be picking those players apart. Like because they're not on a microscope or we're like us looking at them all the time. We will be picking every flaw apart. I think Watford, I think Barlow, I think Jabari Walker, I think those are good players. And he got them at decent prices. I think that's a really good skill for our GM to get useful players that Nurse was using a lot of the season at discounted price. Just because they don't have a mid-level price tag next to them doesn't mean they're not good. I think they're decent. They're not being played. I think Justin Edwards, got him at a great price. Got him on a hinky deal. He's not being played. I think they have pieces. Nurse is not playing them. And this is a perfect time for you to like throw the coaching in my face. Like it's a perfect time because I think Nurse, that's what Embiid out and a team playing basically 3 games in 5 nights, 6 nights.
Playoff
That's
games.
like you
High
need
leverage
to use
playoff
your
games.
bench. What's that?
High leverage playoff games at that.
Yeah, like you need to use your bench. This is a perfect time to say, Chuck, coaching matters, and I would have nothing to say. I don't think this is Morey's fault because I think there's players on that bench that can contribute, and like we saw that I think we saw that with Barlow. Nurse is not playing. I don't know what we can do about the backcourt. I don't. Grimes is not playing well. I don't know. Like, and then Embiid's not there, which I think we should talk about. Embiid's not there, so Maxey, the second best player, has to play even more minutes. We don't have a backup guard. Embiid's not there. Maxey's playing. Damn, he literally played the whole game.
I think if you're looking, go ahead.
No. That's all I had to say. I think there's pieces. It's just not. Nurse is not using them. If Tim Hardaway Jr. played on the same tour, we would be picking that dude apart. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Doesn't do that. But from afar, he looks excellent. So I mean, that's. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Colby.
No, off of that point, Chuck, I think there are definitely things you can pick apart, obviously, of the games of a Jabari Walker, Trent Wofford, Justin Edwards, and come up with reasons why, okay, I can't really trust this player in the playoffs, whether it's shooting, whether it's defense, decision-making from a couple of them. But at the same time, you look across the court at the Knicks when they have a guy like Josh Hart out there who did hit a big 3 in this game, but isn't really a threat from the perimeter. When you see how well Dominic Barlow is playing Karl Anthony Towns, you can put in a Trenton Wofford or Jabari Walker and have him shade on Josh Hart, and all of a sudden, like, you're not too worried about an OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges attacking them, because that's what you would be concerned about, I think, from a defensive standpoint when you're talking about those players. And then, yeah, you're losing a little bit of shooting on offense, but at the very least, you can throw out lineups with BJ at the point, Quentin Grimes, Paul George, Walker, and Barlow, and give Maxey that blow that he needs so you can have him fresh in the fourth